All right, today we're headed to the northern edge of Seoul to talk about a district called Dobonggu. Now, you might think you know this place from TV, but it's so much more. It's a gateway to some incredible nature, and it's also on the very brink of a massive, massive transformation.
So, yeah, you've definitely seen its streets on screen. It was the nostalgic hometown for the main character in Squid Game, and of course, it was the beloved setting for the smash hit K-drama Reply 1988. But what's the real story here? What is this place really like? Well, as it so often does, the answer starts with the name.
Everything really kicks off with the name Dobong. So, do means way or path, and bong means peak. You put them together, you get the peak of the way. And it gets its name from the absolutely magnificent Dobongsan Mountain, which was a place where scholars for centuries went to seek enlightenment in the way, or Tao. This name just perfectly sets the stage for a district that is completely defined by its deep connection to nature.
And, that connection to nature, it's not just some symbolic, poetic idea. It is the single most defining feature of Dobong's geography. Okay, so picture this in your head. Dobonggu isn't just built on some flat plain. It's literally nestled down in a valley, sandwiched between these two huge mountain ranges. You've got the dramatic granite peaks of Dobongsan on one side and the sprawling Sureksan on the other. This unique topography creates this natural corridor that has shaped, well, pretty much everything, from its climate to its entire history. So what does this actually feel like for people who live there? Well, the real-world effects are super clear. Living in Dobong means you're usually about 2 to 3 degrees Celsius cooler than downtown Seoul. The air is noticeably fresher, but there's a trade-off. In the winter, those same mountains act like a funnel for the cold northern winds, shooting them right down the valley. It's a life that's really lived in rhythm with the mountains.
But Dobong is way more than just mountains. It has this rich, deep history as a working-class heartland of Seoul, a story of just incredibly rapid growth and constant change.
So let's trace its journey real quick. For centuries, this area was just farmland, way outside the capital. Then, boom, 1963, it gets swallowed up by a rapidly expanding Seoul. By the 70s, you see huge apartment complexes just shooting up everywhere to house the city's growing population. The district used to be massive, but it got split not once, but twice, first in '88 and then again in '95, carving out the modern Dobong we know today. And throughout all this time, Dobong really formed 3 key identities. First, it was the historic northern gateway to the capital. Second, it became a classic bed town, a residential satellite where people just came home to sleep after long commutes to jobs in the city center. And third, and this is a fun one, it somehow became the heart of Korea's entire sock industry. It's a legacy that actually continues today, with the district still pumping out around 40% of the country's socks. Who knew?
Now, this working-class history, it directly shaped its politics. For decades, Dobong was a key part of what's known as the No-Do-Gong Belt, a really reliable stronghold for the Progressive Party. But that's changing. Now it's a swing district. It's a political battleground where the desire for big urban redevelopment projects is clashing with more traditional priorities like social welfare. You add all of that up, the mountains, the history, the politics, and you get the modern Dobong, a district that is just full of fascinating contrasts.
And the first reality, the first thing you have to understand about Dobong today, is a demographic one. It has one of the highest percentages of elderly residents in all of Seoul. See, over the years, a lot of young people have moved closer to jobs in the city center, which means the district has aged, and aged significantly. And this creates a huge challenge. How do you revitalize a community for the future? And yet, at the same time, it's a place with this really quirky and vibrant culture. I mean, its official mascot is Dooley the Little Dinosaur, a super famous cartoon character who fictionally lived in the Sangmun-dong neighborhood. It's also home to a museum honoring Kim Soo-young, who was a celebrated poet of resistance and freedom. And of course, with the mountains come the temples, giving the district a very strong Buddhist presence. And this brings us right back to where we started. The whole reason directors choose Dobong for their shows is because so many of its neighborhoods, especially places like Sangmun-dong, feel like they've been preserved in time. The old apartment buildings, the narrow alleys, they offer this perfect nostalgic glimpse into the soul of the 80s and 90s, turning it into a pilgrimage site for drama fans from all over the world. But that nostalgic past is about to collide head-on with an incredibly ambitious future. Dobong is right on the verge of a complete and total transformation, all centered around this one big idea, the 15-minute future. So here's the core of the plan. Take the area around Chang-dong Station and turn it into a massive culture and economic hub for the entire northeastern region of Seoul. And look, this isn't just some small project. We're talking about a fundamental reimagining of the district's entire purpose.
The single biggest driver of this change? It's this new GTX-C high-speed train line. A commute that right now takes nearly an hour, about 50 minutes, from Chang-dong to the business heart of Gangnam. Well, that's going to be cut to just 15 minutes. That is an insane reduction. This one piece of infrastructure changes literally everything.
The ambition here is it's huge. The stated goal is to go from being a quiet bedtown to a vibrant music city. It is a complete pivot from a residential suburb to a major cultural destination.
So how are they going to pull this off? Well, here's the strategy, broken down into 3 simple steps. First, you build that massive transportation superhub for the GTX train. Second, right next to it, you construct the Seoul Arena, a state-of-the-art stadium designed specifically for K-pop concerts. And third, you leverage all that new infrastructure to attract entertainment companies, artists, and tourists, creating a whole new economy from scratch.
Which leaves us with one final, and I think really fascinating question. Dobong's identity, its soul, has been forged for decades by its mountains, by its working-class history, and by its quiet residential streets. So can a high-speed train and a massive K-pop stadium truly reshape the soul of a community like this? Honestly, only time will tell.